Hey, Kitchen Underground, how y'all doing today? It's JS, we here. I'm gonna do some old school recipe. I hope you guys are having a good night tonight. It's a beautiful night, great night. The Steelers busted ass yesterday, the Heat busted ass tonight. So, game one to us boys, and we still got 15 more games to go as the Steelers go. But after we got that out the way, now let's go have some fun with food. I got an old school recipe. I got some top sirloin. We're gonna crust that off with a nice blue cheese bacon crust, and we're gonna make a nice smoky tomato jam and some roasted mushrooms that's gonna go with all of this. So before we get into everything, let's get the first things going. Let's get some bacon in the pan and get them rendered off nice and crispy, and let's go save some of that oil. So let's get busy real quick, all right? Right off the bat, you can see we got our I got some applewood bacon right here. That's all gonna render down slowly because I got the meat heat on medium. We're gonna let all that nice fat break down, and we're gonna get them nice and crisp. So I got about a good 8 strips of bacon. We're gonna use all of that, some for garnish and some to chop up and put in our crust. So let's go ahead and get these rendered down, and let's get working on our mise en place for our bacon tomato jam. All right, as you can see right here, I got a top sirloin. This is a center cut piece. It looks a little bit like a fillet, but trust me, this is not any fillet. It's a little bit, it has a lot of flavor, but it's just a little bit chewier than fillet. We're gonna hit this with a nice crust, but first we're gonna have to season it and sear it like we do with all of our meat. So we're just gonna touch it up with some black pepper, a little bit of salt. We don't need too much salt because the blue cheese has a lot of salt. And just a touch of garlic powder. Get that. Season up on both sides. And then we're just gonna let this sit at room temperature just to settle, relax. So when we sear it, it seasons up and it's nice and stays together. So when we add this nice crust to it and we broil it, it's gonna come together nicely. All right, next we're gonna, we don't have to do anything to this sprig of thyme, but that's just going in with our tomatoes to cook. But here we're just breaking down, I got 1 shallot and I got 4 Roma tomatoes. I'm just gonna break these down real quick and help them get cooking. And then we're gonna get the jam going with the spices and the liquids. Once we get that going, we're gonna work on our crust, get our mushroom seasoned, and we'll get those into the pan, warm pan, and let them start slowly roasting. So we get these chopped up, and see you guys in a second. All right, our bacon just got done finished cooking, so we're letting that sit and settle. In the same pan I cooked the bacon in, which is our nice cast iron. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the shallots in that we chopped, the 1 shallot, and the tomatoes and the sprig of thyme. And basically what we're trying to do is get all that bacon flavor from underneath and get that incorporated into the tomatoes. Once we get that sauteed a little bit, I'm gonna get it into this pot where we're gonna add our stock and our seasonings, and it's gonna cook down nice to make our jam. So let these cook up a little bit, and then I'll be right back with you in 1 second. Alrighty, as you can see, our tomatoes have cooked down. I got the juices flowing in there. The only thing we want to do to this, I got a nice balsamic vinegar right here. I'm just gonna add a tablespoon, a nice tablespoon of balsamic. I'm at about 3/4 cup of chicken stock because this is gonna cook out. And we're gonna just give it a touch of salt and pepper. Not even 1/3 of a tablespoon. And then touch of salt. And a little tiny touch of dijon. About 3/4 of a teaspoon. And then we're just gonna hit it with our sugar right here. About a good tablespoon. Stir that up. And we're just gonna let this simmer for about a good 15 to 20 minutes on the medium to low heat, just so it breaks down. And then we're just gonna finish that off with a little slurry. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. So, all right, we got our mushrooms right here that we're gonna roast. When we got the big ones like this, we're gonna cut those in half. It's just gonna help them roast easier. This is a nice one that'll cook down. This is a nice one. This is a big one right here. We're gonna need to cut that one down. And all we're gonna simply do is add to this some pepper, some salt, some olive oil. Not even much, like half a teaspoon of pepper. We want this to mainly taste like the mushrooms. We're gonna finish it off with a little bit of white wine. And garlic at the end with some chives. So let's get this tossed up and marinated. And these are gonna slow roast in the pan. All right, so what we got here, I got about a good 3.5 ounces of some panko breadcrumbs right here. To that, we're gonna add about 3 ounces. I got some Danish blue cheese right here. So we're gonna add about 3 ounces of that. Okay, so we're gonna chop up our bacon real quick. And I forgot to tell you, we also got like a teaspoon of chopped parsley here also. We're just gonna rough chop our bacon. And you can see we basically got this all worked together right here. So all we're gonna do is mash up everything together. Now once we break this all down, we're gonna let it sit in the fridge for a little bit so it can sit and be ready to be made into a nice crust. And we're just gonna get our steaks seared off and then we'll finish them in the oven. All right, as you can see, our sauce, we're almost, our jam, it's almost we got about another 5 to 10 minutes, it'll be almost done. That's when we're gonna do our steak. I got the pan warming up right now. Our mushrooms are just about finished, and I'm just gonna finish them off real quick. To that, all we're gonna do is add a touch of maybe a teaspoon of garlic. We're gonna add about a tablespoon of chives. Get those stirred around. And we're just gonna let those brown for a second. Turn off the heat on those, and then we're just gonna finish it with a touch of white wine to loosen everything up. And we're just gonna let that all deglaze. These are all good to go. All right, our jam is almost finished. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish it with about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of slurry. That's gonna thicken it. That's gonna help it come together and come up, and not a jelly-like consistency, but it's gonna have a nice, thick, rich consistency. It's gonna go great with the steak. Our mushrooms are sitting, chilling, waiting. Our pan right here is nice and hot. And if you remember, we still have some of our bacon fat rendering. And just so you know, I did put 1 tablespoon of bacon grease in this jam to give it that smokiness. And we're just gonna throw a little bit of this bacon grease in here to help sear our tenderloin. We'll go ahead and get them seared off to a nice medium rare, because when we put the crust in on and then we broil it, it's gonna bring it up to like a nice low medium, you know. So let this get seared off, and then we'll be back to this in a minute. All right, folks, as you can see, our top sirloin is nice and medium rare right now. This is a good time where if you got kids, come and let them have a little bit of fun and get dirty, because this is the fun part. And if you make a mess, you could eat the mess you make. So this all works out cool. What we're basically doing is taking our crust and just making sure we settle it all over the top. And once we get a nice firm crust, it's gonna all break down as soon as it hits the broiler. I got the oven going right now on broil. So that's gonna, I give it about 1 more minute and we get this bad boy in. It'll probably stay in there like 2 minutes. And after the 2 minutes, we just gonna get the plate and eating. Be very generous with it because there's nothing wrong with flavor, man. Nothing wrong with flavor. All right, we got our crust nice and crispy and it's nice and moist and melted on the inside. We got our mushrooms, our jam, nice and seasoned up. Let's get to see how this bad boy's tasting in 1 second. Alrighty, y'all. We're here at the best part of this video, which is the best part of any video. When we're done with the cooking, then we get to the tasting. So let's see what this is all about. It might be an old school recipe. When I first learned to do this, I did this with filet. We didn't have filet today, so I used top sirloin, which is just a little bit chewier because the muscle gets worked a little bit more. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful cut of meat. It's gonna go great with everything. I can tell already. But let's just see how this all came together, because it might be an old school recipe, but these flavors don't ever get old, man. So don't mistake it. Alrighty, let's get into this. It's a nice medium, just like I said. Got some of that crust, got some of the jam. Try the mushrooms. Like I said, old school recipe, but the flavors never get old. I ain't gonna spend too much time talking. I want to close this out and I want to jump back into here. This needs my attention. I hope I've given you guys enough attention. I hope that whatever I cook, you're able to get something from, something to apply. You might not have to make the recipe exactly like this. You can tweak it and touch it and make it your own. Do what you're supposed to do. That's what, you know, sharing recipes and sharing experience and everything's all about. We ain't never gonna get better unless we share what we've been through and we share how to make each other better. So if you think you got a secret and you think you're special, go run along and go hide in the hole and keep a secret to yourself. Because let me tell you, trust me, whatever been done in the kitchen, been done in the kitchen thousands and thousands of times before you ever made it up. So just go with the recipes, see what you can do to make it better. Like a tart blueberry jam would go great with this, honestly. But this is just the way I learned it the first time I did, so I just wanted to share that with you. We still got plenty of other food to cook because we're not about to run out of food on this earth. So as long as you got an imagination, you got some ideas, share that shit with everybody that you can, because you never know when you'll be the next big thing or you might have the next best idea. Stop being afraid to be yourself and share things with other people, man. The best thing you can do is share with other people. So if there's anything cool about this, please like, subscribe, comment, request, critique, throw me any ideas. Do whatever you want to do. I'm always down to hear and to work with whatever you throw my way. But right now, somebody do this my way, yeah, I'm about to run through this. So other than that, get up, get off your ass, get in the kitchen and go do something. If not in the kitchen, outside. It's all beautiful, baby. So please make this, try this, enjoy this. And like I said, like and subscribe and please share. I love you guys. Remember, treat people like you want to be treated, homie. This world will be a better place. You have a great night. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I got some good stuff for you tomorrow.